The final thing you will do for the month of January is you have to reconcile your account statement for the month of January. This is something you do every month because what you have to do to reconcile, that means you have to match what the bank sends you in the mail, called an account statement, to your check register, which is your spreadsheet. You have to make sure that you didn't put something in there wrong or the bank didn't put something in there wrong. It is possible that you or the bank could make an error and you would need to catch it. Otherwise, your balance will be off and you run the risk of writing a hot check. Now, it does give you a tip and tells you that your checkbook balance should currently be $350.24. When you look at the spreadsheet, you can see that in your check register, your current balance is in fact $350.24. So we're doing good. We're doing exactly what we need to do. So to reconcile your bank statement, what you do is you look in your booklet on page 3 and find where it says account statement. It's at the bottom of page 3. Now this one's already been filled in, so you're not going to want to write that down just yet. I'm going to cover it up down here, the reconciliation part. Let's first of all look at it so that you have an understanding of what you're looking at. Again, every month the bank will send this to you. Okay, this is your way of making sure that the bank didn't take out too much money or give you, too little money or what have you. So you've got to check it off. First of all, just to familiarize you with what the account statement is, up at the top, this is your account number. You and only you have this account number. Nobody else has it. Statement date is the date that the statement was printed. This one was printed on January 31st. Then you look at your account summary. Your beginning balance is 0. That's because this is the month that you opened that checking account. Hopefully you'll never have a beginning balance of 0 again. That means things went bad the month before if you're down to 0. Deposits says you have deposits for the month of January in the amount of $717.20. Payments or debits, these are checks that you've written. They total $556.40. And your ending balance is $717.20 minus $556.40. That gives you $160.80. This is what the bank determines that your balance is as of right now. This should alert you because your ending balance is currently $350.24. It might lead you to say, what's up? Where's my money, right? Well, you have to complete the reconciliation to determine if the bank is right. You see, oftentimes you'll write checks and it'll take them a while to clear, or you might make a deposit and it was made after the statement was printed that day, in which case you're never going to have exactly the same balance for the ending balance as the bank has. And that's simply because checks are written all the time and it takes people several weeks sometimes to get your checks deposited. Just wanted to explain that to you. Now, this is a summary. Right here and over here, here and here, are summaries of what the bank said happened on your account. Now you compare that, or you will compare that, to what you said happened on your account, which is called your check register. That's the spreadsheet. So this is the check register, and this is the account statement. Now, the account reconciliation form. When you have to do this on your own, the instructions on how to complete a bank reconciliation is right here. Steps 1 through 4. Step number 1 says check off entries in the register that match entries on the statement. This is the account statement. Okay? The spreadsheet is the register. You have to make sure they match. So again, this is what the bank said happened on your account. We're simply going to go through and make sure that it matches. So for example, the very first thing it said is there was a deposit on January 3rd for $717.20. So you go to your spreadsheet, that is your check register, and you look on January 3rd. Was there a deposit for $717.20? Yes, that is the exact number. So I'm going to click in this column, column E, next to the number 717.20, and I'm going to put an X. That's just my way of saying yes. That matches. So then the next check number 101, is written for $35.24. I get this by looking over here. Check number 101 is for $35.24. So I check my check register. 101, yes, it was for $35.24, so I'll put an X. You only want to put X's next to the stuff that is shown up on your check register, on your account statement. Okay? For example, it skipped check number 102 here. Notice it didn't clear. That's because while I wrote the check to reader service back in January, for whatever reason, they have chosen not to deposit it yet. When they do deposit it, it will show up on my account statement. It just hadn't happened yet. So the next thing on my account statement is check number 103 for $40. So I come over here, check number 103 for 40. Yep, that's right. And so I put an X. Then I go back to my booklet, and my account statement says that check number 104 was for $41.80. 104, 41.80. It matches. If it didn't match, you would need to fix it. Say, for example, I accidentally wrote 40.80. I would have to go back and pull up my bill and see, was it for 40.80 or was it for 41.80? And usually the error is not on the part of the bank. It's usually human error. And so I would have to fix it. Just make sure that you fix any problems you might encounter. And this is your way of checking the problems. All right, check number 105 was for $120.24. So I come over here, check number 105, 120.24. Yep. Then I go back to my account statement, and it says that check number 107 was for $314.12. So I look, yes it was. So I check that off. And I go back to my account statement. Now that's everything in this part, but there's also this part over here. So then I look and I see service charge on January 30th for $5. Come back here. I don't see anywhere where I put that on there. That's because I always wait until I get my account statement to do it. So I put in the date of January 30th, and then I put bank fee, because that's what this is. The amount is $5. And I'm going to go ahead and put an X next to it because I know it matches the account statement. I was just looking at it. Now what the $5 is the bank charges you money to be their customer. This is their $5 fee for you being their customer. Some banks do this. A lot of banks do. Elkhart State Bank doesn't happen to do this, but a lot of banks do charge you simply because you are their customer. So there's my $5 bank fee. I come back over here to my account statement, and I'm looking in the activity here and here. I don't see anything else. So I have officially completed step 1, which is check off entries in the register that match entries on the statement. The next step says list the checks and other payments that are still outstanding. What outstanding means is you wrote the checks, but for whatever reason, whoever you wrote it to, they haven't cashed it. So I list those checks over here in the section labeled Payments Outstanding. Now, where I got these checks from is I looked on my spreadsheet and I found every single check. We're not worried about deposits. Every single check that did not have an X next to it. This is why you don't just go down and put X's just to be putting X's. It makes it very difficult to complete this if you do. So notice that check number 102 for $24 doesn't have an X. Neither does check number 106 for $33.93. And neither does check 108 for $450. That's why you see written there those 3 checks and their amounts. That's what you'll need to do right now. Get it written in there. Now, you're probably going to want to pause this because I'm going to move on. Get it paused and then write them down, and I'll tell you the rest. All right, so we get all 3 of them written down, and you get a total of $507.93. So you see this arrow right here? This arrow denotes that you are supposed to not only write $507.93 right here, but you're also supposed to write it right here. So go ahead and write that number there. So now we have officially completed step 2, which is list the checks and other payments that are still outstanding. Step 3 says subtract the bank charge from your checkbook. By the way, that's this charge. Did we do that? We look at our spreadsheet, and sure enough, we did take out the $5. So we have already completed step 3. We don't have to do that again. Step 4, complete the reconciliation form below. That's this form down here, okay? So we fill this out. The first thing it asks is ending balance on the statement. Now, this is your account statement. You read it and you find where it says ending balance. And the number that is written next to it is what you put right there. So 160.80 goes right there. Then it says add deposits not shown. The way you find that is you go back to your check register, which is your spreadsheet, and you find any deposits that doesn't have an X next to it. Notice this deposit, it's got an X, so I don't need it. This deposit doesn't have an X. That means it doesn't show up on the statement. That's what add deposits not shown means. So this 692.37, you're going to write right here, 692.37. So then you get a subtotal. And the way you get the subtotal is you read, it says add. So I added 160.80 plus 692.37, and I got a balance of 853.17. By the way, if you need a calculator, and I prefer that you use a calculator, go to the Windows button and choose Calculator in the Quick Launch bar. Then it says subtract payments outstanding. You've already written that number, that 507.93. So now all you have to do is subtract 507.93 from 853.17, and you get, and I know it's hard to read, but $345.24. $345.24. Now that number should sound familiar to you because that $345.24 should be the same number that's in your check register. So what I want you to do is write this. This number should match the check register spreadsheet, and I want you to point an arrow at that $345.24. Now we go back and we look at our check register, and sure enough, the last thing that we did in January, that bank fee, brought our balance to $345.24. We have officially done this correctly. If that number right here had not matched our booklet balance, then we would have had to go back and figure out what the problem is. And you have to figure that out before you go to February. Because again, this is a test grade, and if you mess up January, then all of your other months will be done as well. So this is how you complete a month's worth of checking activities. It should help you as you proceed in doing the month of February, March, and April by yourself. Thank you.